Hello, it's November 28th, 2017, and you're watching Life Talk. I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for being with us today. Hope everyone had a nice holiday.
Nice Thanksgiving.
You did.
Yes, I did.
And I did as well, except my wife was sick part of the time, and now my daughter's sick. She caught it. And so that's not good.
No, not at all.
But anyway, it's bad to be sick when you got 4 days off from work.
I know it.
Spend them being sick. It's no good.
No, it's not.
Speaking of no good, one of the common themes we talk about around here, and I hate to keep on beating this to death, but it's, if you were to go out and ask 1,000 pro-life leaders around the country what's the biggest failing of the pro-life movement, they'd say our inability to get the church involved.
Yeah, it is.
And we just keep on seeing this, and the thing that bothers me, even as a non-Catholic, is the situation that's going on with Pope Francis. The idea that we went from and I've told you this before, he's one of my, not a hero, I don't believe in making heroes out of people, but if I had one, he'd be up there close, not with George Patton, but he'd be up there, is John Paul II. I thought John Paul II was one of the most spectacular people of the 20th century. Mm-hmm. And that the Catholic Church, which has always, of course, been the most staunchly pro-life.
Mm-hmm. From the very beginning.
From the very beginning. If it had not been for the Catholic Church, there would have been no pro-life movement.
That's right.
Because when those of us like me and you who were evangelicals or Protestants or Baptists like me or whatever, we're totally ignoring this and sitting on our hands. The Catholic Church was out there on the front lines.
Right.
And the sadness of them having gone from JP2, John Paul II, to this guy in one generation and jumped totally over Benedict, basically. I don't even know why they put him in there. He was kind of a caretaker, it seemed like.
Right.
He was a good guy, and he was going to continue on with John Paul II's leadership. And maybe that's the reason that he's gone.
Right.
Because that's not somebody didn't want him to do that.
That's right. Yeah, he's made some horrible statements.
And now we've got this guy, Pope Francis. Who's basically, and I know you haven't studied this a lot, but this ultra-liberal wing of the Catholic Church, the liberation theology people from Central and South America, he's one of them. I hate to say this, and I know I'm going to make some of my Catholic friends out there angry at me probably. He's a Marxist. He's a card-carrying Marxist.
Well, and it's different because you are Baptist and you can say these things.
Yeah.
I know that in the Catholic community, they tend to
go along with the hierarchical structure.
Exactly.
And it's very difficult.
Right.
But yeah, I can afford to say they can nothing new to me, but this guy's a Marxist. And I've had even a lot of Catholics that are real close to me have said basically the same thing. Yeah, we're concerned. This guy is a bad news.
Yeah, and there are some Catholics, some of our friends that have said that.
Yeah, you've been on some of those conversations.
Yes, I have.
Now the Vatican is issued I guess it's like a paper or something, praising Governor Jerry Brown of California, one of the most godless, liberal, pro-abortion, pro-homosexual, anything that you can name on a social issue that the Catholic Church stands for, this guy is exactly the opposite.
That's right. And he's praising him.
They're praising him, and he delivered the keynote address at a Vatican meeting on the Pontifical Academy on Climate Change. This is a scandal. This is a complete scandal. Yes. And if I were Catholic, I would be up in arms about this. I don't know what you can do about it. But
it seems like there's something that you can do about it, but I'm not Catholic, so I don't know the protocol here.
Right. And it's but to even allow someone like a heretical Catholic, and he was born Catholic, Jerry Brown was, and he claimed to always be a good Catholic, legitimate Catholic. He's a liar, but that's what he claimed. And he was in the seminary. He was in the Catholic seminary.
Yeah.
That they would allow this heretic to even walk onto the Vatican property is bad enough, but it is an absolute scandal that they would issue these statements. And this was issued in a tweet from Casina Pio IV, headquarters of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences at the Vatican, and called him a true leader, and singling out Brown for, quote, the good of the planet threatened by human activity that uses fossil fuels, unquote. And talked about what a great man it is. He says, quote, he's a leader who defends the good of the people, who seeks the good of the people, defending the dignity and freedom of each person, unquote. Yet, he's one of the most pro-abortion people you'll ever meet. Mm-hmm. That's a scandal.
Yes, it is.
Then the Vatican's Pontifical Academy for Life holds an event, a conference, invites Switzerland's Planned Parenthood affiliate and the president of the Pro-Euthanasia Royal Dutch Medical Association to speak. One of these people, Dr. Yvonne Gill, a gynecologist and Green Party politician, and she's the leader of the International Planned Parenthood Federation's Sexual Health Switzerland, or Santé Sexuale Suisse. I don't know how you pronounce it. I can't even do it in Spanish, and I grew up here in Texas. But anyway,
this is sickening.
They are a member of the International Planned Parenthood Federation, and they are listed as, quote, the umbrella organization of the Swiss Centers for Sexual and Reproductive Health and the professional association active in the areas of education and counseling on sexual and reproductive health issues, and they counsel women on how to obtain abortions and the use of artificial birth control, both.
Gonna speak at the Vatican.
Right. They also had somebody named Renee Heeman. I don't know if that's male or female. Renee, with a male, is generally one E.
Yes.
And as opposed to yours with two E's. So I assume this guy's male.
I'm not sure.
And he's he leads the Pro-Euthanasia Royal Dutch Medical Association, and another guy named Rolf Jocks, a professor at Ludwig Maximilian University of Munich. Both have publicly proposed the legalization of, quote, responsible assisted suicide. They were speakers at this event.
As a way to protect life.
As a way to protect life.
That's right.
That's what they claimed it. This is a way to protect life.
Right.
Is to promote euthanasia and assisted suicide.
Well, and it's already here in the United States, so I guess they're just spreading the...
Yeah, well, because we're like Europe. We live in a post-Christian world. That's where we are. It's hard to say, and it took me years after I came to that recognition to actually say it out in public, because it is a difficult thing to say, but it's a fact. The Pope has also criticized Trump and says that he's not a Christian, and that if he was truly pro-life, he would support the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, here in the United States.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now, here's another one. This is not the Vatican. This is Liberty University. Has now asked Tomi Lahren,
our favorite person, kind of like Wendy Davis here.
Like
she's
Wendy Davis.
She's another a pro-abortion Barbie.
Right, abortion Barbie.
Yeah.
And a movie about her.
Yes. With one of my favorite actresses, Sandra Bullock. I was going to say Wendy Davis. Yeah.
Whose only claim to fame is her little filibuster that she did.
I know.
To hold up the ban on Planned Parenthood funding here in Texas.
Yeah, it's going to bomb. It's going to be a very boring movie. I can only imagine.
I wonder, here's something I wonder. I wonder, and this is not my supposition, this was printed in the newspaper with quotes from your buddy,
Wendy Davis.
Wendy Davis. She admitted this was true. She married, as a young woman, a very much older man because he had money.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
He put her through Harvard and through Harvard Law School. The week that she graduated, they had 2 children.
Right.
She had 2 children by him. The week that she graduated, she left him,
right.
divorced him.
With the kids.
And left the kids with him.
With him.
To go off and start her career.
That's right.
I wonder if the movie will delve into that too much, or how they'll
right.
sugarcoat that.
Yeah, I'm curious. Well, I'm not going to watch it,
right.
But they will definitely do that.
Yep. Now, going back to Tomi Lahren, she was kind of a rising star in the Young Conservatives. Announces a few months ago that she's pro-abortion or pro-choice, as she calls it.
From The View.
On The View, goes on The View and announces that she's pro-choice.
Yes.
And now she's been announced as a speaker, commencement speaker, at Liberty University. If Jerry Falwell were alive today, arranged this, whoever approved it, whoever allowed it to happen, right now, as we speak, he would not have been given enough time to clean out his office. Jerry Falwell would have his butt out.
Yeah, it's a shame that this is going on because we need more voices on our side here to speak out, especially at universities.
And to not give these people a platform. Do not give these people a platform to speak from.
That's right.
And, you know, and anyway.
Yep.
Meanwhile, of course, you ever see these things on television where they'll say, this was fact-checked. So-and-so said this, and this was fact-checked and found out to be incorrect.
You see that more and more because of the presidential debate that went on with Hillary. And
I often wondered, I would often sit there, we'd watch this, especially back, like you're saying, back during those debates, and I would ask my wife, I'd say, well, who's checking the fact-checkers?
Right.
Who's checking them out? Well, now, Judge Moore down in Alabama obviously got his problems, but his wife came out and used a term called full abortion. She wasn't saying medical term. She wasn't saying, I'm trying to put this into the lexicon. This is
right.
She just said
those were just her words in speaking.
Right, and that Judge Moore's opponent, Doug Jones, backs full-term abortions.
Yes.
Now, PolitiFact, which is supposedly one of these big fact-checking, they're only after the truth. They don't have an agenda. They're only hardcore truth seekers.
Oh,
right?
yes, definitely.
They came out and attacked her and said that what she was saying was not true, that there's no such thing as the term full-term abortions. This doesn't count the fact that on MSNBC, they interviewed this guy, Doug Jones, and they were asking him about his position on abortion. And he said he supported a woman's right to have an abortion. He was pro-choice. He supported a woman's right to have an abortion. When they upped the ante and started saying, well, what about at 20 weeks or 28 weeks or whatever? His answer always was the same. I am not in favor of anything that is going to infringe on a woman's right and her freedom to choose.
Right. It's her body.
In other words, right up to the moment of birth, she gets to make the decision.
That's right.
If you have an abortion at that time, I think it is legitimate to call that a full-term abortion.
Yes, well, PolitiFact has definitely taken her words and just misused them, twisted them, and I can't stand it when people do that.
So the next time you hear somebody talk about these fact checkers, especially PolitiFacts, or what is it called? Yeah, PolitiFact.
PolitiFact,
think about that, and think about this. One of the people that they then called on, PolitiFact called on as an expert, was another one of your old buddies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you don't? Lisa Harris.
Oh, yes. She's the one that assembled her baby at...
No, she assembled somebody else's baby. She was aborted.
But she was pregnant, and she assembled, the baby that she aborted.
This is an abortionist in Michigan, Lisa Harris. Just to remind everybody who this is. She was an abortionist, or is an abortionist in Michigan. She's a professor at University of Michigan Medical School. And she said, I agree, full-term abortion is not a term I've heard before, and it doesn't exist as a matter of routine practice.
Give me a break.
Nobody was trying to claim that it existed. Now, Lisa Harris was 18 weeks pregnant.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
She was 18 weeks pregnant, doing an 18-week abortion on a woman. And she started talking about how while she's doing this abortion, she felt her child kick.
Her baby kick, yes.
And she started crying. And then she reassembled the baby that she had just ripped apart to see what her baby looked like.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine taking little pieces of the baby out of the Petri dish and assembling the baby's little arms and hands and legs? And
you're 18 weeks pregnant saying, wow, that's kind of what my baby looks like. Look at that.
Yeah, how neat.
And she talked about how emotionally, we have a whole a paper that she wrote on this. It's many pages long. And she wrote about how emotional this was for her, as if you're supposed to feel sorry for her.
Yeah.
That she had to go through this experience of killing this 18-week baby while she's 18 weeks pregnant and feels her baby kick. I'm telling you, Renee, you've heard me say it a million times. These people are whacked out. This woman is a sociopath. Look it up in the dictionary and see if that doesn't describe this woman.
Yeah.
She's a psychopath or a sociopath, whatever you want to call her.
Very demented.
These people are evil, and half of them are stark raving nuts. This woman's crazy as a drugstore rat.
You're gonna say that.
I mean, that's a fact. Well, you got to believe a drugstore rat's gonna be pretty crazy because
I know it. He's got it all right there, doesn't he?
But this woman is pure evil.
Evil.
She's either thoroughly evil or she's completely whacked out, one or the other. She's mentally unhinged and should not be.
She's got problems.
A really interesting article here that Matt Abbott, a friend of ours, wrote this article. 40 Days for Life, we're talking about how abortion clinics hate it when they pray in front of the abortion clinic. I've talked about this before. We've had people in this building that worked at abortion clinics who told me that when the pro-lifers are on the streets protesting or just praying on the sidewalk, they don't have to be doing anything, just silently praying on the sidewalk,
Right.
that something takes over the clinic, something spiritual happens inside the clinic. And whether our people all realize that this is a spiritual battle or not, they realize it. They're on the wrong side of it, but they realize it.
Yeah, God's trying to get their attention, and they're too hard-hearted to listen.
They've closed their hearts, but you know, it's the old thing: is anything impossible for God? And the popular answer is no. But the only thing God won't do is enter the heart where He's told He's not welcome. He will not enter that heart, and that's what these people have done. They see the spiritual welfare that's going on, and I've had these people say, you know, something happens when these pro-lifers show up on the front sidewalk and start praying. Something happens in the clinic, and we all get on edge, and it's not like we're thinking they're going to bomb the place or do anything. It's just a spirit takes over inside the clinic that we don't like.
Yeah.
And that's why they get so vicious toward these people.
That's why we need to
But the fact is,
be out there praying.
right, but the fact is whether all of our people realize it or not, which I think most of them do,
I think so too.
that at its core it's a spiritual battle.
Oh, definitely.
These people are seeing it. These people live with it more than what we do.
Yeah, because they're on the inside.
Because they're on the inside.
Yeah.
Finally, there was an article in the Pensacola Daily News. Abortion's not an easy question, even for liberal progressives. This guy tries to play like he's Mr. Intelligent.
Oh yeah, he's pleading the fifth here, and he doesn't understand what's going on with the pro-lifers versus the pro-abortion people, and
and he talks about his values and how he's a Democratic Christian and an American. He keeps on pushing that.
Yeah.
I'm a Democrat, a Christian, and American.
Yeah, he has said it several times.
He says, I also have conservative values. Ladies, please dress moderately, modestly, whatever that's supposed to mean. He calls his values sensitive, insightful, and patient. He said, I'm a heterosexual, but he identifies with the LGBT community and wondering why they have to go through all the things that they have to go through. He says, I'm pro-life and pro-choice. Right there, you know this guy is a bald-faced liar.
Yeah, right.
It is not physically possible to be pro-life and pro-choice.
All right.
You got to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
Abortion is a complex issue, and no one that I know of thinks abortion is a non-emotional situation. He has not talked to anybody that works in these abortion clinics. They will tell you it's a non-emotional situation for them.
Yeah.
That's the only way they can survive.
That's right.
And he talks about how he's pro-life, and we ought to look to the Bible and get our direction from there. Don't get me wrong. I hate to see abortion, especially abortion on convenience, but it's not a black or white situation. Is the murder of an innocent and defenseless human being, if that's not a black and white situation, then black and white situations don't exist.
Well, yeah, and he has gone to twist the Bible, Numbers 5:11-31, where God can cause a miscarriage, but that is God that is doing that. It is not human.
Right. God can strike you dead right now.
Right.
If He wants to.
Right.
If He wants you coming home, He can strike you, or He can strike me dead right now. But there's a difference between God striking me dead right now from a heart attack and you killing me.
That's right.
There's a big difference.
There's a huge difference.
This guy apparently doesn't understand the concept that God gets to do a whole lot of things that you and I don't get to do.
Right, and he has that right to.
Right,
I mean,
right,
after
he's
all,
not.
he created the earth and the universe.
Right.
Right.
So this guy keeps on talking about what a great American he is, and this guy's nuts, but he's typical pro-abort. Now, a few days ago, I was a speaker at an event in Florida.
And you did very well, might I add.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
2 different times, I had people come up to me and ask me about, they said, we've read all your stuff and all your apologetics for the pro-life position and stuff. They said, both of them said, I have relatives. One of them said her sister, and the other one said that it was her, I think it said her mother maybe, that's a pro-abort. And she said, I've used all your arguments are so incredibly logical. She said, nobody has the same kind of logical arguments that you have.
Right.
Come from different positions and so forth. She said, and both of them said, it makes no difference. What am I doing wrong, or what can I say? And neither one of them liked what I had to say, but it's what I used to teach in my old seminar. There's nothing you can say to those people. There is nothing. When somebody reaches the point that they are a hardcore, rock-ribbed pro-abort, there's no argument that you can bring to them that will change their mind. None. Now,
It is good for them to hear it, though, because God does work in mysterious ways, and maybe after hearing so much of it, who knows? I mean,
yeah, there may be a cumulative effect, but what I'm telling you is you
right.
take, and this comes down to what we've talked about here on the show before, the difference between doers and talkers on the pro-abortion side. Doers are the people who work in the abortion clinic.
They see it all.
They're there doing it every day.
Right.
The talkers are the people who you see on television or who you might encounter in your daily life that just defend abortion. But as the doers will tell you, and I've had them sit right here in this office and say this, the doers and talkers hate each other because the talkers see the doers as the ghouls of the pro-abortion side, and they go out and do all these outrageous things, which we then have to defend. Meanwhile, the doers look at the talkers and say, you're a bunch of prima donnas. You couldn't last 30 minutes in the abortion clinic that I work in every day.
That's right.
And in fact, they couldn't.
That's yeah, exactly.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
And I've had people, you're saying don't convert, but was pro-abort. We had Dr. Wilkie. I mean, I'm not Dr. Wilkie. Dr. Nathanson started the National Abortion Rights Action League, right?
He was, yeah.
He converted.
Big player.
One of the things that you'll see is, with extraordinarily rare exceptions, the people that convert come from the doers, not from the talkers.
I guess I haven't been around long enough to see if any talkers have converted.
It always comes from the doers.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that.
Because what they know is what we know. I've had them tell me, those three never, they never once denied that it was wrong. I've had these pro-aborts sit across the table from me saying, I don't know how a woman can do this.
She would purposely say, Deborah would purposely say fetus and then mess up and say baby every once in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
They knew
Yeah,
that
exactly.
they did not criticize me and you for our pro-life views. Because what their attitude is, and I've seen this, that was only your first experience, but I've seen this dozens and dozens of times. The doer's attitude toward us is, yeah, I don't like them, wish they'd go away. The basic argument that they're making is true. They are babies. We are taking a human life. I remember when Charlotte Taft left the abortion clinic in Dallas and retired. She was kind of the big pro-abort in this area.
Right.
And she said, look, we're taking a human life.
That's right.
You know, we have to, we have to, I think she even said something like, we have to give the pro-lifers, we have to be honest about it. We are taking a human life.
Right, yeah, and they do openly state that.
You'll never get the talkers to make those kind of statements. It's only the doers that make those statements.
Yeah.
And so by the fact that they see what you and I, the rhetoric that you and I use to defend our pro-life position, they know it's true. They may argue with us.
Right.
And they may want to ignore it because they're making a lot of money or whatever the reason might be. But they know that what we're saying is true. So the conversions come from them. But the talkers, you almost never see a conversion.
Very interesting.
And generally when people that come up to me and ask me, like these two at in that event down in Florida, when they come up and ask me, what can I say to my mother, as one of them did, or my sister, who's pro-choice, and no matter what argument I give to her, she'll say something. One woman said, the one whose sister was a pro-abortion, she said, every argument that she can give, I can go to one of your books and I can blow it totally out of the water, and it doesn't make any difference. All that happens is she gets mad. And I've been arguing with her for years. She won't change her mind. What can I say? And I said, you've got to accept something. You can't change your mind. And you've got to move on, because if you don't, what'll happen is you'll make an argument to her and it won't work. And you'll abandon that argument. And then later on, with someone that it would work with, somebody that's on the fence or ambivalent about abortion or whatever, somebody that argument would work with and would expose the pro-life position in a way they maybe had not seen before, you won't use it. So you have to recognize that these people are unwinnable. Now,
yeah, I would think I would even try to go deeper than that, though, and see if there's some kind of abortion component
Experience.
in their past,
Right.
and then try to set them free that way, or just pray, or have them
Right.
hopefully maybe go talk to somebody to get help, or whatever. I mean, whatever the formula is.
right. Yeah, but, you know, for people that don't think that what I'm saying is true here, I used to teach this in my old seminar, and I would use this example. So I'll use it on you. You're about as hardcore pro-life as you can get, right? Argument.
Right.
The unborn child's a living human being. Right. All that.
All of that.
Okay. And you're not ambivalent about it. Let's say that there was a debate in Dallas tonight on abortion, and I was the pro-life debater, and there was a pro-abort there, and you and Tim and your family went, and you know, my family went. So all of us went. And let's just say that this pro-abort just beat me to death.
Right.
Won every argument. I was practically in tears. This wouldn't happen, but let's just say that it would. All right. I'm in tears because I've gotten beat so bad at this deal. They've won every single argument that came up. Not even close. Change your mind?
No, not at all.
Not at
Not one bit.
all. Right. Now let's reverse. Say, I used to see this on abortions. And they always come with their little entourage too, right? They have their people they bring with
Oh,
them.
yeah, definitely.
So they brought their people with them. And let's just say in this debate that I beat them to death. I win every argument, going away. I embarrass them,
Which happened.
which happened a lot. I used to love doing that. You've talked to the people who've been there. So.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yep.
I used to love to do that. And so let's say that I did that. And you look out in the audience and you see all the people that came with this person that I just beat the devil out of, right? How many of them changed their mind?
Probably none.
None. Zero. It's a nice round number. Zero changed their mind. So what we have to understand is that on the spectrum of hardcore pro-life, like you and me, and the other end is hardcore pro-abortion,
Right.
right? Like this girl's mother and this girl's sister, like them. Won or lost. There's nothing pro-life, my pro-life buddies to change their mind. Their thing is true of their people. If they're talkers, not doers, if they're talkers and they're hardcore and they just ignore all the logical arguments, then there's nothing you can ever say to them to win them over. And all that you can do is get frustrated by trying to win them over. And what you do is, and you use them. I used to teach people how to do this in my old seminars. You use those people. The only time you engage them is when there are other people around that you think are winnable. And you use them as a foil to win those people.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
But you're not going to win them.
Right.
They're going to walk out of that room just as pro-abort as they were when they walked in,
Right.
every time.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there's people out there saying, well, you know, I changed my sister's mind, or I changed my brother-in-law's mind, or whatever. And I know it happens. I'm just talking about in the aggregate, in the totality of it. It doesn't happen. It just simply doesn't happen. You can win over the people who are ambivalent, and you can win over the doers. The irony here is you would think the doers would be the hardest ones to win over, and the talkers would be the easiest. In reality, it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
The talkers haven't seen what the doers have seen.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so that's our little lesson for today on how you debate who you debate and why you debate and why you don't get all upset when you can't win somebody over.
Good lesson.
What you got?
I don't have anything.
Nobody's commenting. Nobody's
Just
wanting you to say anything, or
no. I mean, Tulane's commented, but
well, that's good.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Is that it?
That's it. No, if you have any show suggestions, send them in to us, and we would love to have them, use them, or even have you on as a guest.
Absolutely.
If you do that, we will send you a mug.
We will. And if Renee doesn't do it, I will jump on her, because I had a lady call me, last week?
I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, yeah. But she got her mug.
She's got her mug.
Yes.
Or it's in the mail anyway. We don't know if she got it yet, but anyway, it's on the way. Anyway, that's all the time we have for this show. Until next time, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you on Thursday.
See you then.